I am Prabhavati. I have around 10 plus years of experience as a data engineer. So I will take you through the complete course of this data engineer. Maybe one or two technologies will be taught by other faculties. Majority of the part will be taken care by me. So quickly, I'll share my screen. 1 second, I don't have access. It seems. Yeah. Let me know if you are able to see my screen.
Yes.
Thank you. So first, let us quickly see what data engineering is. The role which we are learning the course is for data engineering. So by looking at the word itself, we know we are going to do something with the data, right? We are going to do our daily routine involves playing around the data. We have to make something meaningful out of the data. So whatever we do, it is all about the data. Let us take any website. Um, let us take Amazon example. Amazon e-commerce website. Everybody knows that. So in that, lots of data is being generated every second or every minute. Because Amazon has a lot of customer database. So each person will be doing lot of transactions every day, right? So all that data they have to maintain it somewhere. Users who are purchasing their products from the Amazon website, they have to store it somewhere. Just storing that doesn't make any sense. They have to do something out of that, right? So by storing the customers and doing some analysis on that, like who is our best customer, like who is purchasing more number of times from our website, or during which period the customer is making more sales, or which product from our website is selling more. So this kind of analysis will be done on that data so that they will know what areas they need to improve. So which products to launch more or which products to cut off, or which customers are our best customers so that they can provide some discounts. Like that, they will make some business strategies or the marketing strategies to improve their business. The whole idea of every business, whatever it is, whatever domain it is, they have to expand their business or increase the business. That is the idea. So our job is to make that data ready to make that analytics. We might be getting data in various number of formats. It might the raw data will be in a various number of formats. It might be in files, it might be in text, it might be in JSON, whatever it is. It might be in various formats. So everything we have to process it and convert it to some meaningful data. Okay, convert it into some meaningful data. So our job is to get the data from various sources, clean it, transform it, apply the business rules on that, and make it ready for the analytics team. So again, after we process the data, we clean the data and put it in some format. Post that also, there will be a lot of process involved. That process is taken care by the analytics team. We are the data engineers. There on top of us, there will be analytics team who will be generating the Power BI dashboards or some dashboards out of that data to visually represent the data to the business people, because the business people might not understand by looking at the data, right? If they make some visualizations, then it would be easy for any normal person, not even a technical person. So if we make visual representations, that would be the good approach for the business people to understand, or everyone whoever is non-technical also then understand. So our intention or our job is to make that data ready. Let us put that in words now. So data engineering deals with data, starting from extracting the raw data from various sources, and cleaning it, transforming it, and making it ready to be used by business analytics to build some visualizations. On a high level, this is what data engineers do. They have to clean the data, make it ready for the analytics team to use that. So in order to do this all process, we need various technologies. So to extract the data, to clean the data, to transform the data and making it ready for the business, we need some tools and technologies. So we are going to cover all those tools and technologies in our course. Okay, let me tell you what those are. So the first and very basic thing is SQL, which is a structured query language which we run on the database. SQL, most of our work, even though there are lots of other technologies involved in data engineering, most of the work in daily routine involves writing queries in the SQL because the data is there available in the database. Out of that data, we have to make something meaningful. That meaningful conversion is taken care by the SQL. Okay, so 60% of our work is about SQL only. When it comes to daily routine, it is even more. 80 to 90% of the work is with SQL, and remaining percentage is other technologies. Other technologies are required only during the scratch setup or for maintenance. Most of the work is around SQL. It can be any kind of project, but the most of the work will be there in the SQL. Our daily routine involves SQL. Still, we have to know other technologies very well because they will be there on the background. Even to maintain this much of data in the SQL, we need other technologies as well. Okay, first what we are doing, I'll tell you at what step what technology is going to be used. Okay, so keeping aside the SQL, I'll tell you where it is used. So the first thing is what we have to do. First, we have to start extracting the data. Extracting this Amazon e-commerce website, they might be storing the data in APIs or they might be storing the data in the form of files and sending those files to emails. They might be doing anything. So whatever, wherever they store, our job is to extract that. Extraction. Extraction of data. This can be done using Python. Python is a programming language, so it is very simple to learn. Even the school students can learn this. The syntax would be very simple. It is just like a plain English. So Python used for data extraction, little bit of cleaning and transformation. Okay. So we have extracted the data now. We have to store it in somewhere. Just extracting doesn't make any sense. We have to store it somewhere, right? For storing, we need a cloud storage. That we need a cloud. So in simple terms, cloud means everybody of you, I am assuming that have a Google account or the Gmail account. So in that Gmail account, there are various services like Google Cloud, Google Drive, Google Photos, Google Docs. There are various services, right? So without physically storing all your data in the laptop or the hard disk, you are storing the data in the cloud. That cloud, for Google Photos, they'll be offering some 15 GB of space, right? If you have completely used that 15 GB of space, you can pay for them monthly and they can extend it to 100 GB. So if you pay them based on your payment or your subscription plan, they might go up to 100 GB or 1000 GB based on your requirement. You can pay for them. So immediately, as soon as you pay for them, the storage will be increased. How? But you are not maintaining any hard disk or the CPUs or the machines, right? So cloud, the Google will take care of the storage, the background infrastructure, everything will be taken care by the cloud. We have to just pay for them and we have to use it. Just like we are renting some servers. We are renting some storage here. So that is the meaning of storage or the cloud. In simple terms, at this point, if you have to understand it like a Google Cloud, where we are just paying and using the resources. Even without paying, they will provide you some free subscription. After the expiry of that, you have to go for payment. So that is in simple terms, that is the uh, meaning of cloud. Okay, storage we have to maintain in the cloud. This cloud provides various services, just like this Google account is providing Google Photos, Google Drive, documents, Excel sheets. It is providing lot of things, right? So similarly, in any cloud provider, uh, currently we have three major cloud providers in the market. One is AWS, Amazon Web Services. Other is Azure, provided by Microsoft. Microsoft. Another is GCP, which is a Google Cloud provider. Okay, so these are the three major cloud providers in the market nowadays. So nowadays, I mean, out of 10 projects, I at least six of them will be using Azure, and three of them will be using AWS. Very rarely I see people using GCP. Okay, so previously AWS was extensively used, but now everybody is switching to Azure because of the ease of use. Because in AWS it requires more coding compared to Azure. Any three cloud services, even if you select any of them, the usage would be similar, not exactly same. It would be similar. For storage, each of one it has own service. For database, each of it has their own service. The functionality is same. The naming, what they name their services are different, and also how we use it, it varies a little bit. But if you are familiar with any of the clouds, you will be comfortably be able to work with the other clouds. Okay, for storage, we need a cloud. In the cloud offers n number of services. Just like Gmail, Google account is offering various services. Every cloud provider, they offers various services like storage, database, ETL. ETL, I'll tell you, ETL or the virtual machines, everything. There are hundreds of services provided by the cloud. So out of that, mostly we use uh, storage and database, storage, database, and ETL tool. ETL, I'll tell you slowly, don't worry. Okay, ETL means extract, transform, and load. ETL, extract, transform, and load. So this is the full form of ETL. So we will be building, as a data engineer, we will be building the ETL pipelines. So each step we have to do, and we have to set the dependencies. Only after extraction we can do the transformation. After transformation we have to store it somewhere. So each step will be done in a particular order. So that we call it as a ETL. So for this, we will be building the pipelines to execute step by step. It won't be that much simple. Like we are looking the three steps here in real time. When it comes to the real time implementation, there will be lot of complexity involved. Not only three functions or three jobs to execute, there will be hundreds of jobs to execute. It becomes a lot complex in the real time scenarios. But for now, to understand, we have to extract the data, transform it, and load it to some database. That is the meaning of ETL. To maintain this process, we need some tool. Okay. So in the data engineering also, based on the cloud, we will segregate them as AWS data engineer or Azure data engineer or the GCP data engineer. So if you are comfortable with one of the clouds, don't worry, you will be able to work with the rest of the clouds. That is not a problem at all. In our course, we'll be covering Azure. Mostly, we'll be focusing on Azure data engineering. Okay. We'll be focusing mostly on Azure data engineering. Even in Azure also, I'll tell you what services we are going to cover. In Azure, I'm going to cover storage. Storage, storage means there are two, three services in the storage. One is blob, other is data lake storage. Okay, these two are enough for storage. Though there are other services for storage, in the real-time scenarios, 99% of the use cases, only these two will be used in data engineering. So this is the storage. And coming to database, database, it is not specific to Azure. There is a database or data warehouse which is which can be supported on all three cloud platforms. That is Snowflake. So I'll write it as database or data warehouse. This is Snowflake. This is a cloud-based data warehouse, which is Snowflake, which can be hosted on any cloud. So Snowflake, this is extensively used nowadays, even though we have other services in Azure or AWS specific to the database, but everybody is using Snowflake nowadays because of the features and the architecture. It is making our lives easier. So that's why Snowflake is extensively used. So for database, we'll be using Snowflake, and for ETL, we'll be using for ETL, we will be using ADF, which means Azure Data Factory. I'm just giving you the list of technologies we are going to use. Don't worry if you don't understand at this point of time. You will get it slowly. For ETL, we'll be using Data Factory. Other than that, there are nowadays there are some tools which are being extensively used, like Databricks, Azure Databricks. Databricks is also like a kind of platform where we can write the coding. Instead of using the ETL tool, we can write coding to do the ETL process. So that is called Azure Databricks in short. So if you look at here for extraction of the data or cleaning and transformation, we are using Python. Python will handle only the small volume of data. Less than 5 MB or 10 MB files we can handle with Python. But in terms of when it comes to big data, big data means big volume, big data, which means big volume, huge volume of data, huge volume data that will be taken care using PySpark. So generally, huge volume of data is taken care by the Spark. Spark has different versions like it can be used in combination with different languages like Python, Scala, R, different languages. But in our case, we'll be using PySpark, which is a Python combination of Spark. We call it as a PySpark. These two are the programming languages, Python and PySpark. These are the two programming languages we'll be using in our data engineering projects. And also, we'll cover both of them in our real time, in our training. Okay, coming to Azure Databricks, we either will be writing the Python code or the PySpark code, but there will be some underlying architecture which makes it different from uh, the place where we write Python and the Databricks. It is like a unified platform. It is a combined platform where we have all the features together. Okay, in Azure, we'll be going to cover Blob and ADLS. ETL for ETL, we will use ADF, and for big data processing or other things, we'll be using Databricks. For data warehousing, we'll be using Snowflake. Irrespective of the cloud, we'll be using Snowflake. So these are the major tools and technologies involved. Other than that, you should be familiar with Excel, but I'm not going to teach Excel because that was a very basic thing everybody knows. So that is not a big deal. Even you will be able to work without learning Excel as well. Mm, so other than this, I'll be just giving you the overview of other technologies because they'll be asking in the interviews other technologies. So for ETL, there is another tool called Airflow. There is another tool called Airflow for ETL. I'll just give you the overview of this. Other technologies overview. ETL, I'll be giving you the Airflow, sorry, overview of Airflow and other databases like Redshift, which is in Redshift, which is a AWS database, AWS related database. So this also I'll be giving you an overview, and also S3, which is a storage in AWS. This also I'll be giving you some overview because sometimes they might be asking uh, just if you have any knowledge on the other cloud. technologies. So this would be helpful. So basically, we are going to cover all of this. Now coming to the major part, SQL. We have extracted the data using the Python or the PySpark. We have stored it in the cloud. Stored means just storing the raw data in the cloud, just placing placing the files in the Google Drive. That is the storage here. So after storing, we have to clean it or transform it. Again, that can be done using the Python or PySpark, or we can do it with ETL tools as well, like ADF. Okay, so that transformation and loading. When I say loading, it is loading into the final destination, which is a data warehouse. In our case, it is Snowflake. From the Snowflake, analytics team will be using the data, and then they'll be generating the dashboards out of that. So for loading, we'll be either loading into Snowflake or Redshift or Azure Synapse. So here maybe I can cover Azure Synapse as well. Azure Synapse on a high level, because this is a combination of ADF, Databricks, and the data warehouse. So I'll just give you some overview on that. Yeah. So all this process, extraction, transformation, and loading. We are doing it with extraction with Python, transformation again with the Python or ADF, and loading into the data warehouse. All this has to be integrated, and each step there is a dependency. Only after extraction, transformation has to done, and only after transformation, loading has to happen. So all this has to execute in an order. That order and scheduling. This order is set using the ETL tool, either it is ADF or the Airflow. And also we have to maintain some schedule, like every day it has to run, or every week it has to run, or every hour it has to run. So based on our requirement, we can automate that. So all this process has to be automated. For that, automation is again taken care by the ETL tool. So ETL/automation. So we'll be using these tools. So every day somebody has to run this process, right? So instead of doing the manual running, we use ETL tools for automation. Okay, now the data is available in Snowflake or any data warehouse, either it is Redshift or Snowflake or Synapse, whatever, wherever it is. We have to do some analysis on that. That analysis can be done using the SQL. Even after loading the data into the Snowflake, we have to do a lot of calculations, lot of processing on the data. All that is taken care by the SQL. Only during the initial setup of the project, we have to extract the data, transform it, and clean it and load it. So once that project architecture is already set up, I mean the project is already started, it there is very rare chance that you will be joining the organization at the beginning of the project. So there will be where that scenario will be very rare. So if you come across that scenario, that would be a very good opportunity for you to use all these technologies. But most of the times, 90% of the times, you will be onboarded into the ongoing projects. In that, the setup is already done. You just have to, if there is any new data coming in, you just have to do some configurations within the existing pipelines to ingest the data. Okay. You don't have to set up everything from the scratch. That would be already there. Everything is in place. You just have to do some configuration so that the data flows through different layers. But SQL, that is mandatory because we don't know what issues we might come up in that large volume of data. So every day, there might be one or the other issue saying that the data is not matching here, the data is not as expected in the table. So something is wrong with the data. Every day in the data engineering, you will face the issues with the data. So you have to be well versed with the SQL to analyze them, debug them, and fix it. The issues will be there in the data. So you have to be very good at SQL. Not only issues, you have to compare it with the source or the target, or you have to compare with some other data set. That comparison will also be done using SQL. You have to be very, very, very good at SQL. For the interviews, they'll make you to write SQL queries and also Python programs. And other technologies, they will ask you theoretically. They'll just ask you to explain. But Python and SQL or the PySpark, they'll make you to write by sharing your screen. So you have to practice very well. Python in real time, we might not be using much, but you should know because to understand the existing setup also you have to know Python. So that is a use case in real time, but in the interviews they will ask you definitely to write the code. Okay, so any doubt still here for our course agenda?
No, ma'am.
Okay, thank you. So this would take around 2.5 to 3 months to complete all this. I'll quickly jot down here Python, SQL, Snowflake, in the Azure will be covering Blob, ADLS. Blob and ADLS, these are very small things we can cover quickly. And ADF, other than this, Azure Databricks, Azure Databricks, PySpark. These things will be covering in detail. Okay, these things I'm going to cover in detail. So the other things I have listed is Airflow and AWS S3 and Redshift. This will give you an overview. Overview. Maybe if possible, I'll give you overview on Power BI as well. Power BI is not our job, but still some people are asking nowadays if you have knowledge on any reporting tool. Okay, I'll just give you an overview of Power BI. So this is our complete course which we are going to cover in our next 2 3 months. So if you practice whatever I teach you in the class, if you practice that, you will be definitely crack the interviews. Even the real time scenarios also, I'll be explaining in each of the concepts. I'll be explaining how it is used in the real time, right? So you'll be if you carefully attend our classes and listen it carefully and practice it along, you will definitely crack the interviews and also work in real time without any hurdles. That is what I can assure you from our course. So if you are good with this, I will start with Python. Okay. So let us start with the Python. Okay. First, I will discuss about some introduction, the basic introduction about Python. Later, we'll see installation and how to use all of that. So Python is a high-level programming language. High-level programming language. High level means it is easily understood by the humans and it is user friendly. It is easily understood by the humans and it is user friendly. Whenever we read the code, even the normal person, non-technical person who doesn't know Python, they'll also be able to understand by looking at the code what it is doing. Okay, it would be that simple. High level programming language, user friendly, easy to understand, no prerequisites. I mean, there is nothing you have to know before learning Python. Even the school going student, even the fifth class student, they'll be able to learn Python. No prerequisites. Requisites. No prerequisites. Okay. You don't need to know anything before learning Python. You just have to understand the language, English, that too very basic English. That is enough. More than enough. Okay, Python is a high-level programming language. It is user-friendly, easy to understand, and no prerequisites required. Very easy to learn as well. So, it was developed in 1992. I don't go much theoretical like a college subject. Just I'm giving you the overview. It was developed in 1992 by Guido van Rosen. Oh, this is the person who developed Python in 1992. So since then it was used. Okay, but nowadays Python has become very wide because it has very rich libraries. Rich libraries means whatever you name it, Python has that. It is able to connect to all the resources. So now I have told we have to load the data into Snowflake, we have to store it in the cloud, everything, or you have to extract the data from sources. Whatever you say, Python will be able to connect with that because Python has a rich libraries. For each thing, there is a library. Python has vast number of libraries, vast number of libraries to operate on different functionalities. I'm just telling you the features of Python. Okay. So it is platform. It is a open source. First of all, it is a open source. Open source means you no need to buy anything. Python is open source language. You don't need to buy anything for the license. You can just go to the online browser and you can download it, install it, and use it immediately. So it is a open source, no cost associated with it, and it is platform independent. Platform independent, which means that we don't require some languages like Java. It requires a Ubuntu platform or the Linux platform, but Python is not like that. It can operate on any platform: Windows, Linux, Mac, OS, whatever it is. It is platform independent. Can work with, can be supported with any operating system. Okay, Windows, Linux, Mac, whatever it is, you can name anything. Python is supported on all those platforms. It is dynamically typed language. Dynamically typed language. So it means in other languages like C, Java, or any other language, if you want to declare a variable, you have to define the corresponding data type of that. Right? You have to define the corresponding data type of that. But in Python, you no need to define the data type of a variable you are going to declare
Better
depending
connection.
on, sorry, somebody talking.
Nothing, ma'am. Sorry.
Okay. It is dynamically typed language, which means while declaring the variable, you no need to define the data type. Based on the values we assign to the variable, the data type will be detected automatically. So all these things I will show you practically as well. Don't worry, I'm just explaining you the features. Dynamically typed language, and it is interpreter language. Interpreter language. So languages are of computer languages are of two types: the compiler and the interpreter. So when it comes to Python, we can say kind of both, but mostly it is an interpreter language. So first I'll tell you the meaning. So interpreter versus compiler. We have, let us assume this is the 10 lines of code I have written in Python. Let us assume these are the 10 lines of code. So in the compiler language, it will read all the code at once and detect wherever there are errors. If there is an error at line 2, yes, it will say there is an error in line 2. If there is an error in line number 8, it will say that as well. So how many errors are there in these 10 lines of code? All those errors will be displayed to us in terms of compiler language. So let me write it. Languages are of two type, compiler and interpreter. So in compiler language, read all the code at once and detect all errors throughout the code. throughout the code, it will detect all the errors. In case of compiler language, it will read line by line, only one line at a time. It will read line by line. And if there is an error detected, if there is an error detected in any of the lines, it will stop the execution there itself. If there is an error detected at any part of the code, it will stop execution there itself, without reading the remaining part. So let us say if there is an error at line 2, it will stop execution. Even though there is an other error at another line, it won't detect it. First, if we fix this and run it, then only it will go to the next line. So this is the difference between a compiler and an interpreter language. Okay, so Python is mostly an interpreter language. So it will read line by line, and whenever there is an error, so it will stop execution there itself. Okay, open source platform, independent, dynamically typed. It is an interpreter language. Okay. So let us go through installation and how many ways we can use Python. Let us see how many ways, in the sense in how many ways we can write it and execute it. So first thing, if you don't want to install Python or you don't have a machine, let us say you don't have a laptop or a PC, you can still practice it using a mobile phone itself. So just type Python online compiler. You can practice it here itself. So let us write a simple program, print hello world, which is the starting program or the very basic program in any language, right? So if you want to write the print hello world program in either the C language or the Java language or any other language, it requires at least 4 or 5 lines of code. First, we have to initiate the program, then define some a void or int or something. Let us see the examples. C C code to print hello world. Just printing, just to print your name or print something. See, this in the C language, it requires these number of lines. How many lines? 5 lines with some brackets, all of that, right? std include hash include stdio dot h for input and output operations. Int main, all of that is required. So let us see the same thing in the Java. So this is C. I'll paste it here in the C language. And next is write Java code. See here, even in the Java code also, it requires 4 or 5 lines. See here, in the C language, we require this much of code. In the Java, we require this much of code, right? So, but in Python, you don't need to know what is C, what is Java. You don't have to learn that. I'm just showing you the comparison. So I'm removing this C code and also the Java code. I'm going to write in Python. I just want to write print hello world. Whatever I am speaking, that itself I'm writing here. Print within the brackets, within double quotes or single quotes, write hello world. See here, it is executed. So only one line, whatever you are speaking in the English, that same thing you have to write it, that will execute. With little bit of syntax, the brackets, double quotes, single quotes, with little bit of syntax. Some compared to the C language or the Java language, just for the hello world, the code is reduced from 5 lines to just one line. Whatever we are speaking, that we are writing. So, but in other languages, we have to declare, initiate. There are a lot of process involved. So this itself is showing the simplicity of Python, right? So it is very easy to learn. You can understand it even though if you do not know Python. By looking at the code, if you look at some Python program, you will be able to easily understand. That is in plain English. No other things are involved. Okay. So if you don't have a laptop or if you don't have a PC, you can still practice it online. Just write Python online compiler. This will open up. You can write the program here and run it here. Okay. So, but the drawback of this is if you want to read some files from your system with Python, that you can't do that. Or there are some advanced concepts which requires installation, that also you can't do it with the Python. Just basic things or the most of the fundamental things you can do it with the online compiler. Okay. So if you're strong with the basics, you will be good with the other concepts. Okay, one way is to run the Python program through online compiler. So another thing is if you want to install it and run it, then go to the website called python.org. This is the official website for Python, python.org. So any official releases will be available here. So click on downloads. Geeta, you have any questions?
No, ma'am.
Okay. So you have unmuted, so I thought you have a question.
No, ma'am.
Okay. So if you want to download Python in your system, just go to python.org website. There will be an option called downloads. So if you click on the downloads, just hover on the downloads, you will see an option to download. So my operating system is Windows, so it is giving me the latest version compatible with my OS. So if you are using Mac, so then it will show you the compatible latest version for the Mac. So just download this. For me, Python is already installed. Uh, Still, I'll install it with the latest version. Let me see what version I have. In order to check the version, you have to go to the command prompt, write Python here, just write Python 13.13.5. So here it is dot 7. So if I install this, it will be upgraded to dot 7 version. Here it is giving you some instructions. Note that Python 3.9, 3.9 and above versions cannot be used on Windows 7 or earlier. Okay. The Python version 3.9, it will be used with the Windows versions greater than 7. So that is what it is saying. So download it. So download is complete. I'll go to the downloads folder. See here, Python file is downloaded. Just double click on that. See here. For me, it is already installed. That's why it is showing you upgrade now. Otherwise, it will show you the install now option. Okay, I'll just click on upgrade now. Okay, it is installing 3.13.7. For you, while installing, there will be an option called add Python to path. There will be a checkbox coming for you because this is an already existing installation. For me, it is not showing. It might show up. Let us see. But one thing to notice, there will be a checkbox with a message called add Python to path. You have to enable that. So that you will not face any issues while integrating with the other tools and technologies. Otherwise, you might be facing some issues. Again, you need to go to the Python configurations file. That is a lot of headache. So to avoid that, you have to add Python to path. So let it install. It won't take much time. Let us wait for 2 more minutes. It will complete. Okay. Um, Disable path length limit. Setup was successful. Ignore about the other options. Just click on close. So now the latest version is installed successfully. Let me check the version in the command prompt. So write Python again. See here, now the version is 3.13.7. Here it is 3.13.5. Now it is updated successfully. Um, I'm going to close this command prompt. So now the installation is successful. By default, along with the installation, there comes the IDLE, which is a Python environment to write the programs here. Let me open it. So this is the interactive shell. IDLE stands for Integrated Development Environment. Here we can write our Python code as a program, run it and save it. Right? This is the interactive shell. But if we want to write a file, save it and then execute it, click on this option here, file, new file. So here you can write the code. Let me write the print hello world. Hello world. Okay, save this file. So by default, whenever you are saving this, let me create a new folder before saving anything. 1 second. We create a new folder. I'll store all the Python files here. Okay, so now I'm going to save this file. Documents. So under Python, I'll save it as hello. Okay, I'm just saving it as hello. Save as type Python files. Okay, if we are doing this in the IDLE environment, but that's why by default the type is shown as Python files. Otherwise, you have to mention as .py file, hello.py. Any file with .py that would be detected as a Python file. Okay, let us say if we have an Excel file, if it has the extension .xlsx, then only we'll be able to understand it as an Excel file. Otherwise, if it is a .txt, that would be a text document. Similarly, for the Python files, we have .py as the extension. Let us save it. So we have saved it. Let us see how the file is available here. See here, this is a hello file with Python as the type. Now I want to execute this code. Let me adjust the windows. Okay, so this is our program. This is the terminal. Terminal means the output window. Run this. You have got the same output as what we have got in the online compiler, right? So one way is to write on the online compiler. Other way is install the Python and do it in the IDLE environment. So if you don't want to go with all of this, you can write in just a simple notepad and save the file as .py file and run it through the command prompt. That also I'm going to show you now. So let me open a notepad. Notepad. Here also I'll write hello world, print hello world, print hello world. You can write small letters, upper letters, whatever you want, you can write it. So save this file. I will save it in the folder. I'll name it as hello one. See here, save as type text document. No, that is not what I want. So select all files here and in the file name, save it with extension .py so that it will be able to understand it as a Python file. Otherwise, it won't execute as a Python file. Save this. Okay, hello1.py. This is saved. I mean, the file is created now. Now open the command prompt. Where is my file? It is in some location. Here it is. So just copy the path. So this is the path where our Python file is existing. This is a command prompt. Here, if you want to navigate through the folders, you have to write cd. Cd stands for change directory and paste the path here. So this is the path where my Python file is existing. So enter. Now you are in that path. If you want to execute the Python file, write Python space the file name. What is your file name? Hello one, not hello one. You can execute any Python file, not only what you have created through Notepad. You can execute any other Python file. So I want to execute hello1.py. See, hello world is printed. So let us see if I want to execute the file which I have created with the IDLE. That also I can execute it. The only requirement is that it has to be with .py extension. It has to be just the Python file. So you can execute with the keyword Python followed by the file name. So like this, you can write in any text editor, Notepad, Notepad++, or Visual Studio, or anywhere. You can write it and execute it. I'll show you another way also. In the Visual Studio, we can write it through notebooks. Notebooks means those are kind of what I can say, hmm, mostly used in Databricks or Jupyter notebooks. I'll show you. You will get an idea. Close this. Close this. Okay. So file, new file. See here, there are options. Just a text file or Python file or Jupyter notebook. I'll create it as a Jupyter notebook. So notebook is like you can create various number of cells. So let me write it here first. Print hello world. Okay. I want to save this and run. First saving it. Let us save in the relevant folder. This is hello notebook because we are writing in the notebook. This is hello notebook. Extension is .py. So let us check if we have a Python here. Yes, Python. Okay, save it. This would be saved as, if you see the extension here, it is failed to save. Okay, .py is not supported, that's why. Notebooks will not be saved as .py. They have to be with IPYNB. Let me show you. Python. Hello notebook. So let us make it as no extension. And see here IPYNB. That is the extension we need to use for notebooks. IPYNB. Save it. Yeah, now it is saved. So let us try to run it. Before running that, we need to attach some kernel. So by default, we did not create any of that. It will just be available. So just select this. It is like selecting the environment to run our notebook. Okay, run this. Where is the run button? Here it is. See here, the hello world is printed. So like this, you can execute it any number of ways. So here, if you want to add some other programming, instead of writing it in the same cell, you can write it here. Print. I'll write hello students. You save it and run it. So the outputs will also be saved. But in case of notepad or other things, everything has to be there in a single cell. I mean single place. This is the flexibility of notebook. You can save this and you can see the output of each and every cell there. But in case of ideally environment, let me show you. Print. Okay, here I have written print hello world. Next I'll write print hello students. Likewise, I can write 100 lines of code, let us assume. So I'm running this. So all the output is here. Here you do not know which line is the output for what. But if you know Python, that is another case. You will be easily understand which line, what is the output of each line, that you will understand. But in case of notebooks, Visual Studio notebooks, here you are able to see. So what is the input and immediately what is the output for that. So that is the flexibility of using Python notebooks. So for our course, I'll be using this notebooks if you are convenient with that. Okay, you can try all of them. I have said 4 or 5 possible ways of executing a Python file. You can try any of that. But for the notebooks, the extension is IPYNB. Okay, so that is it. So now let us check other options. Other options in the sense I have told you many features, right? Uh, it is a open source. Yes, we have seen that. I did not pay anything. I have just downloaded the Python package from the online browser, installed it, and I'm using it. So that is open source. Now it is a interpreter language, right? Interpreter, let us say. Before interpreter, let me tell you the dynamically typed language. So dynamically typed language. Here, if you see, I have added hash at the beginning of the line, which means that this is a comment. This is not a part of the program. It is a comment for the users to understand. Whoever is looking at this code, they have to understand that I'm trying to explain dynamically typed language. So this is not going to execute. Whatever we write with a hash as the prefix, that line doesn't execute. That is like a comment or it is like a document for the users to understand. So now let us say A. A is the variable name. I'm going to assign the value 10. So in other languages, if you want to declare a variable, you have to declare the data type and then initiate it. But in case of Python, you don't need to do that. So just A equal to 10, run this, nothing happens. It is able to understand that as the value of A is 10. So now print A. Yes, the value of A will be printed. Yes, value of A is 10. Now I want to know the data type of this. What is the data type for that? Print type of A. So in order to know the data type, you have to write type to know the data type. So I'm writing inline comments, which helps to understand what does this do to know the data types. This has represents a comment. to understand. This is not a program. It is a comment to understand. Later, after 10 days, if you're looking at this, what does this type do? You won't be able to recollect. Then by looking at the comment, oh, this detects the data type is what you understand. So that is the purpose of writing the comments. So let us run this. See here, A is of class int. Int means integer. Okay, I did not tell anywhere that A is of type integer. Based on the value I have assigned here, it is detecting as integer. So let us declare some other variable. So I'll write name equal to, I'll write my name. Okay, print that name and also the data type. Print name and print type of name. See here, name is Prabha. This is of class str, which means string, because this is a string, right? So based on the input I have given, it is automatically detecting. That automatic detection is called dynamically typed language. So let us see one more example. Now b equal to, I'll provide the number 10, but within single or double quotes. Single or double quotes, the meaning is same in Python. See here, we have written hello world in the double quotes. You can write the same thing in single quotes as well. Single or double quotes, the meaning is same, unless there are some exceptions. I'll tell you those exceptions later. Now print b and print type of b. Okay. The value of b is 10, but why is it detecting as a string? The number 10 is an integer, but it is detecting as a string. Why? Because we have enclosed that in single quotes. So whatever is enclosed in single quotes or double quotes in Python, that would be detected as a string. That would be identified as a string. Even though that is a number or another data type, if you enclose that in single or double quotes, that would be understood as a string only. Okay. Here you did not write the single or double quotes. That's why by default it is identified as an integer. So otherwise, if it is enclosed in single or double quotes, that would be a string. Definitely that would be a string. Whatever might be inside, that would be detected as a string. This is the meaning of the dynamically typed language. Okay. So now coming to interpreter language. Interpreter. Interpreter language. Okay, let us see that. Mm, I just want to assign some value c equal to 34 and print c. So intentionally I am making some errors here. Print c. Ideally, in order to print that, it should be enclosed in brackets, right? I'm not enclosing it in brackets. See here, missing parenthesis in call print. Did you mean print brackets? Yes. So I'll not fix it. Later I will write some d equal to 20. So there is no error in this line. D equal to 20. This is fine. I'm just writing print d. These two lines are correct. There is no issues with that. But still there is an error in this line. I'm going to run this. See here again it is stuck at that line itself. Line 4. Syntax error. Print C. At this line we have error. We have an error. Parenthesis missing in the print statement. Right? Though there is no error in the other parts of the code, it is not getting executed. Okay, let us say there is an error here. Print D. So D is, it should be there in brackets, but I'm writing with a space here. There are two errors, one at this line, another at this line. So I'll run it one more time. Still it is stuck at line number 4. So that is the meaning of uh, interpreter language. It will read line by line and wherever there is an error, the program will stop execution there itself. It will not go and read further parts of the code. But if it is a compiler language, it will say there is an error at line number 2, and it says line error at line number 6, 5 or 6. So that is the difference between the compiler and interpreter language. So if I fix this now, then it will go to the next part. Print C. Yes, now these 4 lines will be executed and there will be an error at this last line. See here in line number 9, it is giving an error. Parenthesis missing at print D. Okay. So this is the meaning of the interpreter language. And dynamically typed means automatically detect the data type of that variable based on the given input. I will stop it here. Please let me know if you have any doubts. Okay, if you don't have any doubts, I will share these notes. 1 second. Let me add a cell here so that I will add all the notes here itself. Mm, and next demo also I'll share it. I'll share in the chat window. Let me also share the demo. 1 second. Okay, download both the files. Please install Python or whichever way is convenient. You can do that and start practicing. Then only you will be able to uh, crack the interviews and also work with these in the real time.
Okay, ma'am.
Okay,
Okay, ma'am.
thank you. Please download those files and you can drop off.
Thank you.